Right, so I've been keeping extremely quiet on social media over the last 2 weeks or so whilst on this bodybuilding prep. The reason why, guys, is just because this prep has not been smooth sailing whatsoever. It has not been going my way at all since the get-go. And I basically just want to take you through everything that's kind of gone on over the last couple of weeks, where our heads are at, and then what's the plan, I suppose, moving forward. Because honestly, guys, I'm not sure am I going to be ready in time for show number 1. Yeah. Let's get stuck in. Right, so I'm flicking on the glasses because I want to give you a very accurate description of what's actually happened over the last 6 weeks or so, and it'll just give you a good gauge, I suppose, in regards to where things are at. So basically, guys, I started prep on the 18th of May. When I started prep, I was weighing in at 81.9 kilograms, okay? That initial adjustment we made when starting prep was quite aggressive. I went from eating 3,500 calories to 2,640, all right? And then even on rest days, my calories went down to 2,153. I went from doing 8K steps a day to 12K steps a day. And we didn't run with any cardio whatsoever. After a full week of running that setup, I had dropped 0.1 of a kilogram, okay? Which is a terrible rate of loss, particularly at the start of a diet. Usually week 1 of a diet is where you get your biggest drops, and that just wasn't the case whatsoever for me, which was weird. On week 2 then, we made even more adjustments. We ended up keeping our food setup the exact same, keeping steps the same, but we introduced 3 20-minute cardio sessions. Off the back of those adjustments, over the course of a week, we ended up dropping 0.2 of a kilogram on average. Again, pretty fucking slow progress, all right? Especially, guys, at the start of a diet. So then we were left with no other choice but to make more adjustments. So we pulled food from 2,640 on training days down to 2,356, and we went from running 2,153 on a rest day down to 984. We kept steps and cardio exactly the same. On average that week, we got our biggest drop yet, but again, guys, it was minuscule. At this point, I'm already eating like 1,200 calories less a day, at least on average, and I'm nearly doing double the expenditure on a week-to-week basis in comparison to what I previously did. And still, we're holding in the 81s. So again, we cracked the whip, we dropped food down to 2,143, 1,800 on rest days, and we ramped cardio up to 5 20-minute sessions. And eventually, we cracked the 80.7s. Over the last couple of weeks, as you can probably tell, body weight has been extremely stubborn. It hasn't wanted to budge once. So I had to ask the question in my check-in. I said, Darragh, am I going to be ready in time for show number 1? Because in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, I ain't stepping on stage fat. I'm not showing up if it's thing I'm out of shape. I want to be absolutely dick skin lean. I want to be peeled out my mind. And if it's thing I'm anything less than that, I won't be competing. So I popped the question, and here's what he had to say.
Good morning, my man. Let's get stuck into this week's check-in now.
In terms of this down here, do I think we're moving at a decent pace to actually get peeled in the next 12 weeks or so? We're going to see from here, mate. Okay? We're going to see from here because, like, look, I wasn't being slow with these adjustments either. We always kind of have to give it 2 weeks, not 1 week, before we see that change, mate. And I mean, I've ramped the fucking cardio up nice and high. I've dropped the food down low. Like, we're 5 weeks in here. And, you know, how many changes have I made, right? I've made 2 changes to food and 3 changes to output. I mean, we've got 12 weeks here, mate, to get you fully fucking stripped inside out. Is this 12 weeks out condition? If I'm going to be honest, we're a little bit behind here. A little bit behind. But it's not impossible, mate, okay? And I don't want me saying that to discourage you. I am just being fucking honest, bro. I'm just being honest as a bodybuilder and as a coach. You know, it's my responsibility to have these conversations and to tell you this. And to let you be aware, rather than us getting fucking, 2-3 weeks out here and me going, I don't know if you should do this show on. And then at that stage, it's already booked, you're already committed to it, you do it anyway. And then we both look fucking silly. You know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind, mate. And I hope that doesn't like knock the wind out of your sails in any way or make you less motivated for the show. If anything, mate, it should do the opposite. It should give you a little bit of a kick to be like, I'm going to be ready for this show. Let's get it. Our goal from here on, right, is obviously to push you as hard as we can and to get you to lose as much body fat as you can and to get you ready for this September show. But a conversation still needs to be had, mate, that if in a couple of weeks' time we're looking like we're in a position where we're not going to be ready for this show, you're going to have to push prep out, mate, and you're going to have to just aim for this as your show. And we're going to have to extend this timeline.
So yeah, when it comes to the last couple of weeks, guys, it has been rocky, to say the least. Weight's just not budging. We've made a heap of adjustments. I've adhered to the plan 100%, and weight is just holding and holding and holding. And the look is improving, but it's not improving at a good enough rate. And as I said in the previous video, I have no issue whatsoever running 1,000 cals a day if that's what it takes. I have no issue doing 2-hour Stairmaster sessions every single day without fail. I've done it before, I'll do it again. I've no issue putting steps all the way up to 20, 30,000 a day. I couldn't give a fuck what the adjustments are, I will do them. But the thing is, guys, we can't really afford to do that. We can't afford to hammer my body to that point where like I am extremely fatigued, I'm low energy, my performance begins to dip, because as a byproduct of that, I will literally just start fading away like Darragh said, and I'll start losing muscle mass. And I need all the tissue I can have for when I step on stage, because obviously I'm fucking standing next to guys who are going to be in killer shape too, and I need to try and be as big as I can be, you know? So it's just a tricky one. It is just a really, really frustrating situation I suppose to be in, and there's not much we can really do. All that we can do from here on out, guys, is just trust the process, nail every single fucking adjustment that comes my way, and just be patient. And whatever happens, happens. The one positive we can take from this is that all this kind of drama, this big shitstorm, I'll say, it all happened about 10 to 14 days ago. And thankfully, since then, my weight has begun to cooperate a hell of a lot better. And this morning, I did actually wake up and I got a new low on the scales of 78.8 kilograms, which is brilliant to see. So yeah, things are slowly beginning to move in the right direction. My body weight is in fact beginning to cooperate with us now. It just means we've got a very short timeline and we got to average extremely good rates of loss every single week now moving forward to make show number 1. So yeah, that's why I've been very quiet on social media over the last 2 weeks or so. I've just begun to think like less fucking talking about it and more action. Do you know what I mean? From here on out, it is going to be tunnel vision focus, and I am just going to try and nail every single fucking variable down as best I can. And hopefully, with a bit of luck and a bit of work ethic, we will get there in time for show number 1. So let's go. A lot of people think supplements are absolutely essential when it comes to building muscle and when it comes to losing body fat and getting in shape. And honestly, guys, that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm all for taking supplementation. As you can see here, I've heaps and heaps of them. I'm literally a walking chemist. But what I will say is that there is no point worrying about supplementation if it is a thing that your sleep, your training, and your nutrition are not dialed in. They are the big 3 pillars for progress, and without them, you are genuinely fucked. No matter how many supplements you take, you will not get the results you are looking for. Supplementation should only be used to fill in the voids that are within your diet, and it is literally used as like the icing on the cake. The 1% marginal gains, the 1% advantages. Do you know what I mean? So just make sure, guys, you get your priorities straight, dial in the big 3 pillars first, and then worry about the supplements and stuff like that later, okay? I'm after getting a supplement order there, and I literally just said I'd lay it all out on the table and show you exactly what I got and what I'm going to be taking throughout this bodybuilding prep. But yeah, here is what we got. Right, so first on the list is going to be omega-3s, and the reason why I'm taking them, guys, is just to help with inflammation in the body and also joint health as well. There are heaps of other benefits too, like cognitive mental function, cardiovascular health, stuff like that, but they are going to be the main reasons why. I always notice when I do not take them, I do get achy joints and that kind of thing, especially whenever I am on prep or whenever I am hammering Stairmaster, steps, heavy ass leg days, doing heavy squat patterns, that kind of thing. So those are just going to help keep me injury free and keep me nice and healthy. Then after that, I'm going to be taking Turbo Krill, and this is by Engineered Muscle, so it is, and it is a really, really good supplement. Reason why I'm going to be taking this is just, again, to help reduce inflammation in the body. It's going to help with recovery as well, and it is just going to help with hormonal balance, that kind of thing, and just, again, keep us nice and healthy. Then after that, we got Mariva Curcumin by Engineered Supplements again. Reason why I'm going to be taking this is, again, to help reduce inflammation in the body, keep my joints nice and healthy, and just keep me in a good position throughout this entire prep. Last thing I want to be dealing with a couple of weeks deep is just like crunchy knees, crunchy joints, shit like that. So that is why these 3 supplements are in. After that then, we got Turbo Mag. And this, again, is by engineers because I do believe, in my opinion, they're probably the best supplements on the market at the minute. So this is going to be used to help reduce my stress, to help improve my sleep quality. And I also notice a huge difference, guys, when I do take it. I find it a hell of a lot easier to actually switch off when I do hop into bed. And I find it a hell of a lot easier to actually fall asleep. So that is why we are taking magnesium, okay? We got vitamin D3 and K2 gone in there as well, just because us Irish, we don't get enough exposure to sunlight, and it is going to be massively beneficial for my mood, for my energy levels, for my bone health, stuff like that. So that is why it's gone in. And it is great as well for building up your immune system too. And then we got Hydroflow by Conte. I'm actually using the apple and blackcurrant flavored one, and it tastes absolutely banging. It's literally like drinking Ribena. If you know, you know. But this is going to be great for improving my strength and performance inside of the gym, and it's also going to be great from a recovery standpoint as well. So I will be taking this both in the morning, first thing when I wake up, and also then as an intra-workout drink as well, along with my creatine. I don't have any creatine here, it's in the boot of my car, but yeah, we're taking that too. And then lastly, guys, we just got a few other little bits to wrap it up. I got a pre-workout for free just because I bought a tub of protein and it came with it. I've never used this one, but who knows, when I am in the pits of prep, if it's a thing I'm feeling like I need it, I'll obviously try it. But for now, I'm going to go without. I'm just not a big pre-workout kind of guy. I used to take it back in the day, and yeah, anytime I ran 300, 400, 500 milligrams of caffeine and hit legs, I'd instantly afterwards end up wanting to get sick. So yeah, kind of pull back on my pre-workout a touch. And then this is actually a great one, guys. This is a Ghost Pump product, okay? I actually encourage a lot of my guys who train in the evening to take something along the lines of this. If they're wanting a bit of a pick-me-up, they want to feel good throughout the workouts, and they want to get a little bit more of a pump on. This is stim-free, so like you can take it in the evenings and it ain't going to affect your sleep quality at all. And it tastes absolutely banging, so it does. So yeah, this is a great one if it's a thing you are looking for extra little pumps and just a bit more vascularity and that sort of stuff. Then after that, we do have protein powders, right? I've got a caramel biscuit one here. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm not the biggest lover of this. I rate it like a 7 out of 10. But I just got it just for the sake of having it. I prefer have a big stockpile of protein powders rather than be running low and stressing. And then I got this one as well, which is Chocolate Explosions. And this is from Per4M. And honestly, guys, this right here is hands down the best protein powder flavor I've ever tried. I fucking love it. I have it in my oats, I have it in my cream of rice, I have it with Cocoa Pops. It goes with everything and it mixes extremely well. Doesn't taste gritty whatsoever, and I would highly encourage you to get on it. So yeah, that is definitely at the minute my protein powder of choice. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon either. And then lastly, just 2 bags of cream of rice. I get my cream of rice from Strom. I've not tried any other brands whatsoever, and I can tell you now for a fact, I ain't going to change anytime soon. Strom's cream of rice is unbelievably good, and it is such a good pre-workout meal to have, just because it breaks down very quick, it's very easy on your digestive system, and it's full of carbs as well, so it is. So it's great from a recovery and a performance standpoint. So yeah, I usually have that either pre-workout or post-workout, depending on, you know, how I'm fixed food-wise for that given day, and it absolutely slaps. Buttered pancake flavour is definitely the goat, and I would definitely get on that if it's the thing you're in the market for a bit of cream of rice. But yeah, that is pretty much all the supplementation that we're after picking up. I know there's a lot of shit there, but that's what it's taken at the minute to keep my body healthy, to keep me in a good spot, and to be able to nail every single variable down on my plan to an absolute T. So yeah, this prep shit, it ain't cheap, it ain't for the faint-hearted. If it's the thing you're doing it, you need to be all in. And I absolutely am. Right, so it's been an absolute stinker of a day. It hasn't stopped raining once. So I'm going to get the walking pad out, I'm going to put it under the desk, and I'm going to bang some work here. A lot of you guys who come to me on Instagram tell me that you can't get in shape because you don't have time in your hands. And more often than not, what I find is that you guys don't have a time issue, you have a priority issue, and you just don't know how to manage your time effectively. The first thing I always get with a client who is struggling with time is to check their screen time on their phone and just try and reduce it by 30 minutes every single day. If it's a thing you're able to do that over the course of a week, you're going to claw back 3.5 hours that you can allocate towards a food shop, meal prep, steps, cardio, or even a gym session. And instantly that gets the ball rolling. And the other thing I like to do with a lot of clients who come on board with us is just try and get them to kill 2 birds with the 1 stone. Try and combine 2 tasks together. A lot of you guys probably are chatting to your mates on the couch in the evening. Is there any reason why you can't do that while you go for a walk? A lot of you guys work from home. Why can't you do your work whilst on a walking pad at a low speed? At least that way in the evening when you're clocking off work, you don't have to then go out and hit your steps. You can be done, you can chill. Little tweaks and changes like this will go a hell of a long way. And every single time you make a little decision like that, it really fucking adds up and it compounds over time. Instead of constantly looking at the problem that you think you're facing, switch your focus to looking at solutions. How can we fix this issue? How can we make change? And I guarantee if you do that, you will level up your physique so much fucking quicker. Right, so meal number 3 is going to be protein porridge oats, and I'm having this roughly 2 hours prior to training. The reason why I'm leaving such a gap between this meal and my session is because it's full of complex carbohydrates. It's also high in fats, it's high in fiber too, and all 3 of those things lead to slower digestion. If it's a thing you are somebody who bangs a big meal like this right before going to the gym, and you notice your strength performance is a bit shit, and your pumps are fucking terrible, having a meal like that is probably why. That food likely hasn't been digested, it hasn't been broken down, the glucose hasn't entered your bloodstream yet, and as a result then, your performance is shit. As well as that guys, if the food hasn't digested, your blood flow, right, is going to be coming away from the muscles into your stomach to be able to digest that food, and that's taking away from your pumps too. So pro tip, leave a bigger gap in between meals, particularly if it's full of complex carbohydrates. And if it's a thing you want to have something a little bit closer to your workouts, maybe offer something that's easier to break down. Maybe like cream of rice, maybe a bit of fruit, something along those lines. And at least that way then, it'll enter your bloodstream quicker. You'll actually be able to utilize it and get the most out of it. Yes boys, what is happening? We're in the gym and we're hitting legs. First exercise up on the cards today is going to be the adductor. We're going to get stuck in because I've covered this loads in videos and we're just going to get it done. Come on, yep. I got 68 for 14 reps last week, and that is what we're aiming to beat now. 2, 10. Whew. We're up 1. Nice one. If it's a thing you're consistently switching up your training programs and you're consistently stuck in the same position with your physique year after year and you feel like you're stuck and you're not getting anywhere, one of the best things you can do for yourself is just commit. Commit to a 12, 16, 24 week block where you run the same program and run it into the fucking ground. Because guys, in order to actually build muscle, in order to make a substantial change to your physique, you are in fact going to have to get strong on a select number of movements. You don't build muscle by going to the gym one week, doing one exercise, and then completely chopping and changing the following. You need to give it time to actually be able to progress each movement as much as you physically can, and that's what's going to drive your stimulus for muscle growth. So yeah, if it's a thing you feel like you've been getting absolutely nowhere lately, make sure you begin running programs into the ground. My last training split, I ran for 1.5 years straight. So yeah, let that sink in. I feel like I'm at that point now in prep where my legs are beginning to feel a little bit heavy after my sessions and even during sometimes. And one thing I will always say to my clients and to myself whenever they're dieting down is that in order to lose body fat, you have to be willing to get flat. A lot of people feel instantly, oh fuck, I need a high day, I need more food. And if it is a thing that you're a person who consistently leans in, takes that easy way out and eats that extra food, you're never going to get in shape, you're never going to get in condition in order to lose the body fat. Remember, you need to get flat, and those who embrace it, those who suck it up and get on with it, are always the ones who are going to get the results. So just be mindful of that whenever you are in a fat loss phase. When it comes to your seated hamstring curls, I see a lot of you guys making a mistake allowing those hips to shift forward. And 9 times out of 10, it's a really, really easy fix. So here's what I want you to do. Step number 1 is just making sure, guys, that you are wedging that pad down on your quads hard, and just make sure you are actively pushing hard against that pad. The second thing an awful lot of people do wrong is they arch their back like crazy whenever they're doing this movement. Instead of arching your back, you actually want to think about keeping your back as flat against that pad as possible, and don't arch as you get more and more fatigued throughout your set. Not only will it take a lot of pressure off your lower back, you'll also notice you're able to connect way better with your actual hamstrings. So yeah, give that a go on your next leg day and let us know how you get on. 9 is what we gotta beat. Yeah, boy. Every set so far we're up, and it just goes to show, if it is a thing that you are in the deficit, you can still progress. You just need to be smart with your sleep, with your recovery, with your hydration, and you just need to make sure everything is in line. And more often than not, what you'll find is you're still able to progress that logbook, and you're still able to get more and more out of your sessions. It's a mindset. If it is the thing you are somebody who is on a bit of a time crunch and you do find it a little bit tricky to get your steps in every single day, one pro tip that I will give you is just get up off your arse and just walk around in between sets in the gym. I always notice I clock up like 2, 3, 4K steps by literally just walking whilst I'm resting in between sets. If it's the thing you're somebody who just sits there and scrolls, do it while you're on the move. Guarantee if you implement that, you'll notice hitting your steps is just so much easier on a day-to-day basis. Fuck. I feel like we're finally starting to get a couple of lines and a bit of detail in the legs. Gonna have to go dolphin mode soon, get the hair removal cream out. I'm dreading that day. I had a conversation with one of my clients the last day who's starting his prep in 2 or 3 weeks, and he said to me, Owen, I just feel like I'm force feeding at this point. I feel like I'm putting away food for the sake of putting it away. And one thing I said to him was good. Embrace it and just suck it up and get on with it. Because if it is the thing you want to make your next dieting phase as easy as can be, you need to have your food built up as much as possible throughout your off season. So at least that way, when you do enter a deficit, you're able to diet down on the most amount of calories possible. As long as your sleep is good, as long as digestion and performance is in a sweet spot, keep pushing on, keep fucking milking it, and just embrace it. And understand that your food is not always going to be that high, and the way that you are feeling is temporary. If it is the thing you do that and you see it through, what will happen is when you do go into your dieting phase, you'll go from being at a position where you're like, oh fuck, I don't want that food, oh I don't want that meal, to now being in a position where it's like, oh yeah, this is grand, this is a nice little setup to manage. And you'll just find your dieting phase so much easier for the first couple of weeks and so much more enjoyable too. So pro tip, put away all the fucking food and just embrace it. I flicked up a Q&A on Instagram the last day, and one question that stood out to me is, what is the most annoying thing a client can do? So if it's a thing you're a client of mine and you're watching this, hear us out. From a coach's perspective, the worst thing you can do as a client is just not check in, particularly on the days where things go a little bit tits up, where things aren't great, and you have veered slightly off plan. Because if it's a thing you never talk about those things, if it's a thing you never tell us about those things, there is no way I can educate you on it, and there's no way I can teach you how to manage it moving forward. So if it's a thing, you're a client and you feel a little bit guilty because you veered off plan or whatever it might be honest with your coach, check in no matter what. They're never going to lecture you, they're never going to give out to you, they're going to try their best to educate you and help. So yeah, that is definitely one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. And then fuckers who go ghost mode on you as well. If it's a thing you're somebody who has really small quads but really developed adductors, like myself, one thing you might want to play around with is your foot positioning on the likes of a hack squat or even on the likes of a leg press here. I know for years when I was doing the likes of a leg press, I always went with a really wide stance, and I always made sure that my toes were pointing out the ways at like 11 and 1 o'clock, and I was driving my knees out in line with my toes then. And although it felt good, and although I was able to get fantastic depth doing it, I wasn't really feeling a whole pile of my quads. So one tweak I recently made is just going with a way narrower stance, keeping my toes pointing directly forward, and then just thinking about driving my knees into my eyeballs as I'm coming down. I'm definitely not as strong when I put myself in that position, but I do notice for a fact I am getting way more out of it and way more stimulus where I actually want it. So give that a go if it is the thing. You are kind of in the same boat as me, and I guarantee it'll make a huge difference when it comes to your training. We're up to. That last rep, I felt like I was about to explode. So this prep so far has probably been the easiest one I've done when it comes to handling nutrition. And one of the main reasons why I think that is the case is because this time round I've made the decision just to keep my meals as simple as possible, as boring as possible, and as repeatable as possible. That 3 is a wicked combo, so it is. If it is the thing you are an individual who's just constantly opting for low calorie sources that are hyper palatable, artificial sweeteners and all that sort of stuff, what you're going to notice is your food focus and your cravings are just going to go through the roof. One of the best things you can possibly do for yourself is just stick to the basics, keep it simple, keep it boring, keep it repeatable, and you'll just sail your way through that dieting phase. You'll also notice as well, by keeping your meals exactly the same on a day-to-day basis, you got way less decisions to make. And if it's thing, you're spending less time thinking about food and making decisions around food, you're just gonna find it even easier to adhere. The last thing you want is to be thinking about food 24/7. That'd be a fucking nightmare scenario to be in. Aye. You may have seen there, as that set got progressively harder and harder, one thing I did not do is spend more time at the top resting. Ideally, when it comes to your exercises, guys, you want to keep the reps as continuous as possible. And at least that way then, you'll get a hell of a lot more stimulus from it, and it'll just lead to way more consistent logbook progressions week to week. Because if it's things, some weeks, you're keeping your set continuous, and other weeks, you're taking 5-6 second pauses at the top, your logbook numbers are going to be all over the shop. So yeah, just keep it nice and standardized. That's another one, guys. When it comes to wearing lifting straps, make sure you're actually putting them on the right way, because if it's the thing you don't, you're always going to start losing grip as you get through your set. You always want this strap to be running in a diagonal line through this section of your hand here. Wrap goes in, wrap goes under. Get it as tight to your hand as possible. Wrap it around once or twice, and then just twist. If it's the thing you do that dumbbell ain't going anywhere. If it's the thing that you're planning on stepping on stage, you're prepping for a photo shoot, or even just embarking on a big weight loss journey, I know how intimidating, I know how disheartening it can feel if it's the thing that your goal is about 20, 24, 26 weeks away from you. So one thing I like to do so that I don't get up in my own head is just break it down day by day, task by task, meal by meal, step by step, and session by session. Any day I come into the gym where I am feeling a little bit off, a little bit shit, what I always remind myself is, right on, I got 19 more opportunities to bring up my legs here, 18 more opportunities. And when you break it down like that, and when you mentally think about it like that, it becomes a little bit more manageable. You can see that your goal is within reach, and it just makes it a little bit easier to adhere and to see it fucking through. So give that a go, especially if it's thing that you are somebody who overthinks and you are somebody who's just constantly getting in your own head and self-sabotaging. Right, enough chatting. Time to get these last 2 or 3 sets banged out. We got one more set here on the 45, and then we got 2 calves downstairs. That is the session done, guys. Fucking hell, another one in the books. Right, and that is the YouTube done for the day. Gonna wrap it up here just because tomorrow morning we're up super early because we're going to Dublin. Bethany's getting her bloods done, getting a full blood panel because she's sick as a dog 24/7. And yeah, it's just gonna be a long ass day, so calling it quits here. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If it's the thing you did, obviously like, comment, subscribe, all that fucking shit. And I'll try and get in the habit of being a little bit more consistent with these. And I do think we'll probably ramp it up more and more as the weeks go by, and as I actually start getting a bit more lean and start to see a little bit more visible changes week to week. After legs now, I only have 6,200 steps to bang. So yeah, we're gonna go, well, I'm gonna go and get that done.
I won't be joining you because I'm 11,000 steps deep.
B ain't joining us. She's calling it quits. She's off the clock. Joys of prep.
Better than you.